Originally, I was going to talk about AppPresser. It's a new framework that exists for building mobile applications with WordPress. It saves a lot of time and money. But I found out we were talking about BuddyPress, so I want to talk a little bit about BuddyPress and how BuddyPress and AppPresser interact with each other. So yeah, so BuddyPress, you know, OMG, like the coolest WordPress plugin ever. Woo! Yeah! It's Toad's Craig. So, this is me, Brian Messenlehner. My last name is pronounced Messenlehner. As you can see here, Messenlehner. I don't know how so many people mess it up. But as you can see, I love WordPress. And that's me. Follow me on Twitter at bmess. I have a new book that's out called Building Web Apps with WordPress by Riley. I have 2 copies and we'll be giving some out when this is over. The co-founder of a web development company called WebDevStudios. We do a lot of WordPress stuff on times. I'm also the co-founder of AppPresser. This is a new framework that I was just talking about for building mobile apps with WordPress. So, why use BuddyPress? Anybody know the answer? The answer is because. That's it. What's that? Oh, away? Too loud? Okay, sorry guys. So, because of WordPress, that's why. It's open source, it's free, it has thousands of themes and plugins to extend functionality, it has a supportive community. It's popular, more than 20% of all websites on the internet use WordPress. 1 out of 5 websites, I mean that's a pretty incredible stat. It's secure, you know, since so many people are using it, it's been battle tested. Just don't make your password and you'll be fine. And make sure you do all your updates. It's extendable, source code is laced with hooks, filters, so you can customize your theme and your plugin. So now I'm going to switch over to my web browser, and I'm just going to show off some cool examples of us using BuddyPress. So here's a site we did for the Clinical and Laboratory Standards Institute out in Princeton, I believe. So they have a multi-site installation. So each one of these is a separate site on a multi-site network. And they're running BuddyPress and BuddyPress. So here's their BuddyPress forums here. I can click on Melissa here, check out her profile. All the standard BuddyPress stuff that you'll see Moon's gonna cover when he talks to. Another cool site we did was Rockport Camp for Girls. This was an interesting project. By default, BuddyPress is kind of open to the world. They wanted to create a private network. You know, obviously they didn't want 50-year-old guys logging into this website and trying to talk to these 13 to 16-year-old girls. So we wrote some custom code to kind of lock everybody out. And anybody that does join the network has to be vetted first before being able to interact with anybody else on the network. We also just launched this website on Friday. It's drugfree.org, the Partnership for Drug-Free Kids. This is a really cool website. It was a kind of a big build. They had, I think, 3 expression engine sites, a Drupal site, 2 other WordPress sites, and 3 custom SQL Server .NET front-end websites that were all migrated into one WordPress site. So that was a cool build, and here's the community behind it. So it's cool. It has stories of hope, memorials, forums, but it's a pretty cool BuddyPress build. So now I'm going to start talking about a little bit more about AppPresser and how AppPresser came to be. So a few years back, we did this project with our partners over at Credly for the New York City Department of Education. And it was a pilot program to teach kids in low-income neighborhoods digital literacy. And the idea was if you can get these kids to learn how to manage the internet and eventually make money off the internet, then they can move out of their physical surroundings. So they wanted to make it fun in a way, right? Gamification is a big buzzword right now. So they came up with this concept of badging. So this was our first badging project that we did. And it was pretty cool. Like each school could log in, they could see all their different badges, like the students could see all these different badges that they could earn. And then within each badge, they would take a quest. So, you know, as a student, I would come in here, read what I have to do to earn this quest, I would, okay, this is my quest, blah, 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 go down, watch this video, then I come down here to the submission form. So whatever that quest wants me to do, I would fill out this form, I could attach a photo, add a video, add an attachment, add a link, whatever I want, and I would submit that. Now, that would get submitted to a BuddyPress group page, which all the teachers were set up, as basically, each teacher's class was a BuddyPress group. And they would go in there and they would see all their submissions, and then the teacher could click on one and say, okay, this is great, approve it, and that student would earn that quest. Or they could say, no, little Johnny, you didn't quite do this right yet. Why don't you do that first? And we utilized the core commenting features of WordPress so that the teacher and the student can kind of go back and forth one-on-one, but hidden from everybody else until the student got it right and the teacher approved it, and then they would award that quest to them. And once all the quests for that particular badge were fulfilled, the student would earn that badge, and once all the badges were fulfilled, the student would then level up and be able to go on to the next level. So this was a really cool project. From this project, we were able to build what's called BadgeOS. So if anybody's interested in doing any type of gamification or badging systems, BadgeOS.org, you should definitely check it out. It's really cool. So the job that we did with the New York City Department of Education led to a job with the YMCAs in New York City. But this was a unique project because they wanted to do a iPad-based kiosk where people could walk up and scan their card, their Y membership card, the barcode on the back, through the iPad camera, and then would log them into their account, and they would be able to scroll through, different challenges to take. Say they went swimming every single day for 40 days out of the month, and for 15 months out of the year, then they would get the Michael Phelps badge. Or they can go play basketball every day and unlock all these different badges and challenges. So I'm just going to kind of play this video, but not the whole thing. I'm going to skip through to the UI so you guys could kind of see what it looks like. All right, here we go. Can you guys see that? Make it a little bigger. So here's somebody walking up, scan their ID card, logging in. And to the naked eye, this would seem like a completely native app, right? It's all WordPress. It's just a responsive design and geared to look like a native app. So that was our first project, kind of doing these mobile app hybrids. From that job, we got another job with our partners over at Credly with the Dallas Museum of Art, where they had kind of the same concept as a Y, but they wanted to put an iPad kiosk inside of or in front of each exhibit, so people could walk up, interact with that exhibit, maybe watch a video, read some content, take a short quiz, then they can go home and keep on wstaying engaged with that particular exhibit. So after that project, we were like, man, it would be really cool if someone were to develop a framework that would allow anybody to build mobile apps that they could deploy into the app stores with WordPress, right? It would save a ton of time and money because if anybody's ever gotten a quote to build a custom iOS app, I mean, you're getting quotes for like 50 grand to duplicate all the functionality that your WordPress website already does. And then you've got to do the same thing when you try to build an app for Android. You got to find some Android developers and pay them 50 grand. And a lot of the costs go into trying to sync the data between your websites. So let me flip back over to here. Oh yeah, here's another cool example of a website we did with BuddyPress. Anybody ever hear of Starbucks? So they hired us to build an internal training system for all their baristas. Basically, they would watch a video on new equipment that they would get. Each city was set up as a BuddyPress group, and all the employees in that city were under that group. So they would watch a video, they would take a short quiz. If they failed, they could take another variation of the quiz. If they failed again, they could take another variation of the quiz. And then if they failed again, then they got fired. So hybrid mobile apps, right? Like how's the easiest, fastest way to build an app, right?
it's just a web view. If any of you have ever messed around with Xcode or Eclipse in building apps before, a web view is basically just the browser, the web browser of your device inside of the app, and you can point it to anything that you want. So that's not the most efficient way to do it. You could also, utilize native device features with XML RPC and push and pull data back and forth from WordPress. Oh, so here's some more examples of the YMCA app, and you can see it looks like a native app. It's really slick looking. There's the Dallas Museum of Art one. So we actually developed this framework and launched it early this year, January 7th to be exact, called AppPresser. So AppPresser, you can kind of build whatever you want. Any functionality that you could build on your WordPress site, you could roll over to a mobile app, which is pretty awesome. So what can you build? Anything you want. So one of these conceptual apps is called Beer and Date, right? You could actually, step one, you would grab your phone, open up the app, and you would select your beer. So you can scroll through, I like Guinness. Step two, you choose your date. So you could scroll through a list of people that have the app also and have their status set to available and are in the same geolocation radius. Let's say you set your preference to 1 mile. So when you choose your date, it sends out a push notification to that person, and they could either then choose thumbs up or thumbs down. If they choose thumbs up, then you move on to step 4, good time. If they choose thumb down, then that's not going to happen. But the WordPress plugins to build this app, you could use BuddyPress, and the AppPresser extensions, you could use App Camera, App Geo, App Push, and App Maps. What else? So we were just down in WordCamp Miami last weekend, and we pushed out WP Armchair app. So any of you guys in the audience right now, if you're interested in seeing AppPresser in action, and specifically our new App Buddy extension, you can go to the iTunes App Store or Google Play and search for WP Armchair and download it and install it and start interacting with WP Armchair. So I'm going to show it off right now, actually. Give me 1 second. Let me switch this up. So, does this look familiar to anybody? It's BuddyPress, but it's appified. So here's the default home page, which is the activity feed. Here's some groups here. We populated it with Miami and New York City, so we could start getting that one ready. Here's the members. Now this is cool. If I go back to the activity, let's take a picture and hashtag WPNYC. So I'm going to attach a photo, and this is where it picks up the native device camera. So I could take a photo of all you beautiful New York WordPress people. Everybody say cheese. Duck face. So it's uploading right now. And there's my preview. And post it. And there it is. Wow. Yeah. Cool. So it's pretty cool, right? Like we have a social network app. Here's BuddyPress messages. So here's everything that BuddyPress does, which is pretty much anything that a social network like Facebook would do. So we have this app that's comparable to Facebook or Instagram or any of these other social networks. And all we did was install a bunch of plugins. This app was really created in about half an hour just by installing some plugins, which is pretty cool. You guys think that's cool? Yeah. All right, cool. We also hooked in BadgeOS to this. So, and it's not showing me any badges. But you could see, here's WordCamp Miami. So WP Armchair actually aggregates anybody talking about certain WordCamps on Twitter or Instagram or Facebook. And it brings it all into one place. So here's anybody talking about WordCamp Miami. So we hope to set one of these up for New York also. And it's just kind of a way to track what's going on. Oh yeah, here's the badges, so it popped up. So if you attended the BuddyCamp in Miami, you could earn points that way. Hey, looking good. If you change your BuddyPress avatar, it'll unlock a badge. And then let's be friends. If you add a bunch of people as friends, it'll unlock that. How am I doing on time here? So that's that app. Another app that we did, or not that we did, but somebody built with our framework, was this House of Rags app. And this is built with, so this person, or this company, had a WooCommerce website, WordPress and WooCommerce, and they wanted to build a native app. And they got, I think their quotes that they were looking at were like around 20 grand to build the app that they wanted. So they went and got our e-commerce bundle for $250, and then they built this app for $250. And it's pretty slick. You can come in here, click on any clothes that you want, add it to the cart, boom, 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 and you're buying a new blouse. Here's the menu. This menu is pretty slick, and this is all just driven from the default WordPress menu system. So it's really easy to control your content in your app. It's really slick. So it actually takes longer and costs more money to get your Apple developer license and to get them to approve your app than it does now to actually build your app. So that's AppPresser. And I'm going to cut back over to my slides. All right, future-ish. So you might have noticed I'm wearing Google Glass, right? So this is really cool because I could actually post a photo to WordPress by winking. Okay, Glass. Share with GlassPress. And that's it. I just took a picture and posted it to my WordPress site just by winking and talking, which is pretty awesome. I think when Apple comes out with the iBrain, then all I have to just do is think stuff and it'll post up to my website. And you could also see comments when they're made, and there's a lot of cool uses for this. I also have an Oculus Rift, which is really cool. So we're working with some schools in New Jersey that have this concept of teaching kids with autism and special needs kids that get distracted really easily by immersing them into this virtual learning environment. And the idea is, like, once they're in there, they have no distractions. They have this thing on their face and the headphones, and they can't look at the girl behind them. They can't, get up and ask the teacher to go to the bathroom for the 5th time. They're learning whatever content is being pushed to them. So what we're trying to do is identify triggers in these educational games that we can tap into with WordPress, and specifically our BadgeOS platform, so that when certain things happen in the game, these students can earn badges. And WordPress is the perfect vehicle for content delivery. And it's the easiest to use, right? So the staff and the teachers, they could add whatever content that they want. When these kids are, in their virtual world, they're like, oh, they're walking down the ancient streets of Rome and they come to a statue, and all of a sudden they see a bunch of content pop up that was, added by the teacher, by their history teacher. So it's really cool, kind of the things that can be integrated with WordPress and where it's going. And this is kind of like the next level of AppPresser. Like right now we're kind of focused on apps, but what's next, right? Hey, look, there's my book again. So if you use the code AUTHD, AUTHD, you can get 40% off the print book and 50% off the ebook. This is a great gift for mom. If you didn't get her one for Mother's Day, then you missed out. You can get her one for next year. And that's pretty much it. If you follow me at BMS, at WebDevStudios, AppPresser, or BWAP, which stands for Building Web Apps with WordPress, and whoever tweets out BuddyPress is awesome and BMS is cool too, WPNYC with the best picture. I have 2 books to give away, so And that's it. Thanks for having me out.
Okay, couple questions?
Sure. Yes, sir.
On AppPresser, is there any sort of local cache? So if you don't have an internet connection, is there anything stored locally?
Yeah, we're actually working on extension right now to store everything locally. And actually, we want to do it as a hybrid. So when you are connected to the internet, it'll go out and it'll grab all your files that you need. And then when you're not, it's going to serve up those files that are stored locally. We did a concept app. Let me try to plug it back in here. Has anybody heard of the Dradcast podcast? Dradcast? Dradcast?
Dragon Tales?
I'll show you guys that app real quick. But this was one of our first local apps that we did. There it is. So that's my business partner, Brad, on the right, the one with the big bald head. And that is Dre Armeda. He was the CEO of Security up until just recently. So this is just a little fun app for their podcast. So it's a little soundboard. I don't know, you can't really hear it. Or wait, maybe.
I'm Dre Armeda. Let me show you a bar trick. Hey, you watch this. Oh, I think that's something to say. Those apps that got restrictions, a bunch of decoration compressors act. I forgot about Dre.
So it also, you could see their shows. Wait, where'd it go? Yeah, show archive. So this version's pulling in all the stuff from YouTube. Because I'm connected to the internet, if I wasn't, it would just show the actual embedded media files inside the app and play those. And it just has an about page. So this was a real simple app that we kind of just threw together to show off local storage. But yeah, we've had a lot of requests for that, so that's something that we are actively working on. Any other questions, sir?
You can build an app that's like a two-layered app, in other words, there's a free version, and then there's a subscription level.
You could. You probably could. Basically, they would be the same app, right?
Yeah.
And you would submit two of them to the App Store. One would be the free, one would be the pay. Yeah, on the paid version, depending on how you wanted that to work, maybe it's behind the paywall and then they get access to the network, right? So if you're using BuddyPress, maybe they can access certain things or certain profiles, but after you pay, then you get more. So basically, you would be able to track what app that they're coming from, and based on that, if they're coming from the paid version, right, then you know that they've already paid, and you can kind of let them in. So I'm sure you could, yeah. Yes, sir.
My brother is spending thousands of dollars on an app. Should I tell him about this, or just let him?
It depends how much you like your brother.
I like
So yeah, you should probably tell him about AppPresser. Yeah.
Okay.
Does he use WordPress?
He does use WordPress. He loves WordPress.
Cool.
Yeah. But he's really spending a lot of money on these apps.
Yeah, we tell people that they have, obviously it has to run on WordPress, but a good selling point for that is, hey, it's going to cost you less to just probably rebuild your website on WordPress and to build your Android, your iPhone, and your Windows apps on WordPress than it would to hire your iOS developer and hire your Android developer and your Windows developer to build that same thing.
Can you interact with other apps like contacts, calendar, photos on your phone?
It can. It could access photos on your phone. I didn't show that in the example. It can connect to contacts. Actually, one of the main things I forgot to mention, has anybody heard of PhoneGap? Okay, so basically, those of you that don't know what PhoneGap is, it's kind of like, how WordPress is open source for building websites. PhoneGap is an open source platform for building mobile applications. And you build your application once, and it kind of works seamlessly across all the platforms. So basically, in a nutshell, all AppPresser is a bridge between WordPress and PhoneGap. So any of the PhoneGap plugins, Steve, you mentioned contacts. That's one that we're actually trying to hook into BuddyPress. so that you could actually access your contacts on the phone and invite them to the social network app. Another piece that we're working on is push notifications with AppBuddy, our BuddyPress extension, so that any notifications that happen through BuddyPress, it would send out a push notification. This guy with the orange shirt, or matching kind of.
When you submit to iTunes, and so you're just using the web view, how do you get past their security guardians?
You got it right.
I had trouble trying to get apps that were just web view past them.
Yeah, so you have to have, usually you have to have some kind of native device feature like interaction with the camera or contacts or something that's kind of native. If all you're doing is just putting your website into the app view, then they're probably going to catch that. Yeah. That's it. Thank you.